This is the final review for Atomic Heart. So I've finished playing through the main campaign and I've even done some of the side missions and stuff like that. Now, originally, when I started playing the game, there was a bunch of issues with lagging, with spikes from just, different lag related issues and some stuff like that that weren't related to my internet connection. There were some issues with corrupted files, especially corrupted save files. There were some glitches in the game where you'd fall through the walls, or main missions wouldn't spawn the objectives, or you couldn't pick up the mission objective items, things like that. And originally, I was really frustrated with it, and I was really upset with the game and really disappointed by it. However, shortly after the game was released, there was an update released to the game, and after that update, I didn't have any more issues really with the game. I did a little bit still, but not for the most part. After about the first half of the game, I ended up not really having any issues at all. Gameplay went pretty smoothly. Nothing like super difficult or super annoying to deal with. Not really any issues that would really downplay the ability of the game to be played. Overall, the game went pretty smoothly after the first half. Now, originally, I would have said not to get this game, and I'd still say you might want to wait a couple of months to make sure that more patches and updates and stuff come out so that all these issues get fixed. However, with that being said, I've talked to some of my followers and viewers and some friends of mine as well who've played this game, and most of them are playing on PCs or newer gen consoles, and they've said that they haven't had any of the issues I have. However, I have talked to a couple of people who play on older gen consoles like I do, and they say that they've had some issues as well. So if you're on a newer gen console or on PC, you'll probably be able to play this game right now without any issues, as most of the people I've talked to have been able to do that. But if you are on an older gen console, like I said, the second half of the game, I didn't have any issues, but the first half I did. So you might want to wait another couple of months, wait for some updates to come out, or, you can give it a go at your own risk. It's still playable. It's just a little bit annoying. Well, it was really annoying to me. But anyways, overall, the game is definitely playable. The story was kind of interesting. The beginning didn't really have much development to the story. I mean, there was stuff there, don't get me wrong. But after about 6 to 8 hours into the game, then the story really started to pick up, fill you in on details, give you more information, some background information on your character, on the other characters in the game, what was going on, stuff like that. So overall, it ended up being a pretty interesting story. I'm not going to say too much into it because I don't want to spoil the game for anybody. But at the end of the game, too, I was kind of disappointed because I thought there was going to be more game. Because in total, this game really only took about 15-20 hours to play. But I did do a bunch of side quests, so it's probably closer to 15 or 16 hours. However, that being said, like I said, the end kind of left me disappointed. Now, it clearly sets it up for a second game, but just with how fast the main campaign went, it does kind of leave you thinking that there's going to be more to the game, and then more just didn't happen. And it's like, we'll see you next time. So that was a little bit disappointing, just because of the time-based issue, though. However, like I said, it does set it up for a second game, so hopefully we'll get a second Atomic Heart, and we'll be able to go from there, play a new campaign, continue on. Maybe they'll fix some of the issues, but I imagine that's probably going to take 2 or 3 years. Anyways, so other than that, comments I have on the game is the retro look, the style, whatever. It really does leave me thinking it's Fallout. Now, some of it, unlike Fallout, it's not dilapidated buildings and stuff. It's really nice Russian buildings and stuff. So that part and this part with the weapons, like you have some electronic weapons and some stuff like that. And those weapons kind of give me like a really strong Wolfenstein feel. So with that and the building still being intact and the whole Communist Party thing and socialism, all that, it really leans me towards more of a feel with Wolfenstein, but more Fallout style. Just because of the way it looks. Like, Wolfenstein does not look anything like Fallout. But this game looks a lot like Fallout, but has more of the feel of Wolfenstein. Anyways, so the guns in this game, the guns that shoot actual bullets are kind of disappointing, in my opinion. I've unlocked most of the upgrades, built them up, and it's just kind of disappointing. However, the unique weapons, like your bladed weapons and stuff like that, as well as the electronic weapons, are a lot of fun to use. They're pretty unique. They've got their own unique weapon styles, and just like with the regular guns too, all of the guns have different augmentations you can put on them to make them shoot in different ways or do different things. Same thing with bladed weapons. Like some of them you can have like smashing blows or like a roundhouse blow. Some of them you can have the blade be thrown out and spinning around, stuff like that. Pretty fun, lots of fun to play around with, lots of fun to use. And this is the big kicker for me for where I'd say to play the game. After everything's said and done, after the campaign's over, you can go back into the game and go back to the facility, and you can continue to explore around the map that's available. And you can go to sites, you can go fight the robots, stuff like that. Now, I know there's not going to be really much in the way of missions and stuff like that you can do, or even looting, because the loot goes away. But you can still run around, you can still fight the robots, you can still maximize the story mission, or the side missions, and you can, find all the augmentations for your guns and everything like that. So there is a bunch of extra content here. That does make it take a lot more time. But really, to me, it's just the fact that whenever I want, without having to continue the campaign again, I can just jump right back into the game and just start playing with my current weapons and everything else, and just wander around the game for a while and just have some fun walking through some buildings and stuff. And to me, that's a huge bonus, because a lot of games, like Far Cry games and stuff like that, you can't really go back into the map after you finish the campaign. You kind of have to start a new game in order to do that, but you can start a new game on like hard mode and bring your guns in. And in this game, you don't have to do that. You can just go back to the map. Super nice feature. I absolutely love that feature. However, some other things that are disappointing is you don't really get to customize your character at all, which isn't like a big deal because you don't ever really see your character. But it would be nice to have like some skins or something where you could customize like the glove or some stuff like that. That would be nice. I haven't personally found it yet, but there's a part in the game where you go into this limbo world. And currently, as I said, I haven't found it yet. I haven't found a way to go and explore that world without being in the campaign. And I think it would be super awesome, since they already did a bunch of development into the limbo for the story, if they made a way for us to like portal into the limbo and get to go explore this universe, because it is a really cool place. It's super fun to mess around with. It's super derpy and kind of funny to play in. So that would be fun to just be able to go wander around in there and have fun. And maybe even add in some characters for villainous characters that kind of fit the whole derpy vibe of it, the whole limbo state. That would be really enjoyable to me. And like I said, I don't think it would take too much work since it's already there. So with that being said, other than that, there's not much I'm disappointed in. The only other things that I'm really disappointed in is the driving mechanics for the cars is really crappy, at least on the system I play on. And like you can drive pretty decently going straight, but then as soon as you start to go off, it's like you go like all the way off to the side and you spin out and do circles for no reason, because that's not how vehicles handle. But again, not like a major downside. The only other complaint I really have is that none of the characters have Russian accents or speak Russian, which when you're playing a game set in Russia, kind of seems like a big deal. Now, some of the characters, some of the like story characters, some of them have some accents. Some of the people that you can find on the ground who are talking to you through a Neuralink, some of them have accents. But most of the characters really don't, and most of the main characters don't have accents either. So that's kind of disappointing, especially the main guy that you're playing as. Him not having a Russian accent, even though he's a Russian person, a Russian soldier, is just really disappointing to me. Again, not a huge drawback, not a reason to not play the game. It's just, to me, I like when I'm playing as a Russian to sound like a Russian, or when I'm playing as a British person to sound like a British person, Just those kinds of things. But again, other than that, there's not really any complaints. There's this unique, whimsical, fantastical, vibe to it. Sometimes you kind of feel like you're more in like a Hogwarts kind of a thing with, like flying houses, and they talk like, oh, you're a wizard or a witch or this, that, and the other thing. It's not very often that they talk about that, but they always mean it in the sense of like science. They do give good character development at the end, like I said, for the characters, so I don't really have any complaints about, the character development, the story, kind of any of that. At the beginning, it's a little slow, but yeah. Overall, I would definitely give this game a check out. I just might wait a couple of months if you're on an older console in order to ensure that you don't have any bugs or issues, just so that you don't get frustrated with it and end up wanting to give up on it, because it is a good game and it is worth checking out.